Hello, Simone. I'm excited to be here with you today. Today we are going to be talking about the platform Blue Sky, which is a competitor-ish to Twitter. It was actually started by Twitter. We'll get into this in a second.
Wait,
It was started by...
no.
Yeah, it was started and owned by the Twitter Corporation, but it's like not a nonprofit. It's like some weird type of like for whatever. Look,
Benefit corporation.
To Blue Sky right now. First, I want to get into the fact that I love that leftists are fleeing from Twitter. I have seen some great memes about this. I want to start with one right here that uniquely, and it is the personification of X saying, "What's wrong, user? You gonna cry? You gonna shit your pants?" And I'm like, you know what? More people need this in their lives right now, right?
A little bit. Bring back bullying, people.
And then the user is sadly walking away. And X is like, "Hey, where are you going? Get back here, you pussy." But X is absolutely right about this. These people are pussies. And then he is hugging, "Oh, sweet little Blue Sky. There, it'll be okay," says Blue Sky Chan. But here's the thing. I love this because it presents almost a horror aesthetic to me. And that this is such a thing in horror where you have the obviously evil and sheltering mother who is hiding somebody from their potential, their ability to interact with the world, and feeding
the Munchausen's
off of them.
by proxy mother, typically. That's the trope.
You know, you could see this as the mom from Waterboy.
You going to
Twitter?
Ow!
Sorry, Mama. I wanted to tell you.
You off gallivant with your fancy
The right
friends. It's
Twitter.
while I'm sitting here all day with nobody to keep me company. Except
Blue Sky.
The chickens are coming home to roost, Bobby Boucher. You reap the fruit of your selfish ways. You gonna lose all your fancy
Elections.
and you're gonna fail your big exam because
Twitter
is
a Nazi.
Everything is
A Nazi.
to you, Mama. Well, I like
Twitter.
and I like
the right.
and I'm gonna keep doing them both because they make me feel good. And by the way, Mama,
Women don't have penises.
and I like
Trump.
likes me back.
Or the Rapunzel mom, right? Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
very Rapunzel, right?
Mother knows best. It's a scary world out there. Something will go wrong, I swear. Ruffians, thugs, poison, also large bugs. Men with pointy teeth. Mother will protect you. Darling, here's what I suggest.
You know, oh, you just can't go out there in the
Mother knows
world. It's
best.
full of
Yes,
Nazis,
yes,
don't you
yes.
know?
Yeah.
Mother knows best. Take it from your mumsy. All sloppy, but sure clumsy. Gullible, naive, positively grubby.
But
So
on top of all this,
stifling.
it's so like an embodiment of the safe space song in South Park, where these people are isolating themselves from reality.
Everyone likes me and thinks I'm great in my safe space.
My safe space. You might call me a pussy, but I won't hear you in my safe space. You will see there's a very select crowd in your safe space.
People that support me, mixed in with more people that support me and say nice things.
You cannot stop me from getting inside. I am cold and I am hard, and my name is reality.
Oh no, not reality. Somebody stop him.
Where these people are isolating themselves from reality. And I want to talk about this because it has hugely deleterious psychological consequences to the individuals who are doing this. This is not a mentally healthy thing to do. And let's go over some more memes before we go further here.
Okay.
So next here we have Mastodon, X, and Threads kicking at someone and laughing at them. And then they go to Blue Sky, which I think shows how quickly they
Mastodon? It's seen as bullying? I thought we just had their own little safe servers.
It doesn't work. They'll never be satisfied with anything. That's the thing. They wanted to be able to lord their power over conservatives. They didn't want to just be lording their power over each other.
So, yeah. Okay.
And they when they go to Mastodon, well, who can they pick on but only other progressives? And so they go on other progressives, pick on them. And they know that they're going to be picked on soon with it. They're all going to leave Blue Sky soon. I mean, this is I love the progressives. Look at all the numbers that are leaving. And we'll get into the numbers. And I'm like, well, the numbers really aren't that big, and they're not bigger than the numbers that went to Mastodon. So I don't know why you think it's going to work this time, but have fun. It turns out what you hate is each other. You wanted an environment where you could bully someone who couldn't protect themselves.
Yeah.
And now you're in an environment where you're the one being bullied.
They just have themselves to eat. Yeah, it is.
And I love, when many people are talking, and I actually think that this is really true about this. It's a Rick and Morty meme here where Morty's saying, "What shit is that?" And then Rick says, it's burp. It's a new competitor to X. It lets people post pictures and videos and write bits of text marketed as some kind of Twitter thing as an alternative to that asshole Elon Musk platform. And then Morty says, that's just Instagram with extra steps. And, that's effing true. By the way, I don't think Elon's an asshole. Elon's awesome. But that is true. And we've mentioned this on other things. More people will increasingly realize, as Elon is increasingly entering the public mind share, that he might be more awesome than you thought he was. Anyway, here I'm going to read a post by Richard Hanania, which I thought was really awesome on this particular topic. The left seems demoralized. Without Twitter, they're all just crying into the void. There's no coordinated mechanism for them to encourage each other and respond to events. Fragmented media landscape hurts the mainstream media. The left has lost their power. Do you want me to go into the statistics around Blue Sky before we talk more about it?
Yeah. I'm also like, do you have details on how they were founded? Because why would Twitter create a competitor to itself?
They did, though, because they were a giant bureaucratic company that was idiotic. But yes, essentially somebody, I think it was one of the leadership team at Twitter, was like, we need to create, and I'll add more in post. Blue Sky began in 2019 as a research initiative at Twitter, led by then CEO Jack Dorsey. The project was initially funded by Twitter for $13 million to begin development. However, Blue Sky was incorporated as an independent company called Blue Sky Social in October 2021. It is a public benefit corporation. The reason for Twitter creating a competitor to itself was because it was likely never meant to be spin out. I think it was spin out with the knowledge of a potential acquisition on hand. So I suspect there's going to be lawsuits around this in the near future. In addition to that, the goal was to create something that was slightly more decentralized than the way Twitter was operated. However, now that Blue Sky is running as essentially a Twitter clone and competitor, it is all centralized. So what I mean by that is it's technically a decentralized architecture that is all being controlled by one team and ran on one server, making it functionally not decentralized at all.
I see. Okay.
By the way, they call their tweets skeets.
Skeets. Okay.
Skeets. All right, so since its launch, Blue Sky has experienced significant growth. Initially available through an invite-only beta in 2023, it opened to the public in 2024 and has rapidly gained users, surpassing 20 million by November 2024. The platform's growth has been fueled partially by dissatisfaction with changes on X under Elon Musk's ownership. However, this represents a significant increase. So if you're talking about like the users this year, they have grown by 13 million users since October 2024. But remember, they only recently launched before that. The platform added 1 million users per day for 8 consecutive days in November. As of 2024, X, formerly Twitter, has a substantial user base. Specifically, so when people are like, oh, Blue Sky is so big, right? They've got 20 million users. X has 335.7 million users.
Okay, wow.
But the bigger problem comes in their active users, okay? Because Blue Sky's been kind of fudging their active users. When Twitter says it has 335.7 million active monthly users, what is its active daily users? The active daily users on X is 237.8 million. The active daily users on Blue Sky right now, at its absolute height, is 3.5 million. And that's a 300% increase since election day. That
Wow,
meant before
okay.
election day, it was at around 1
There's a
million active users
quiet
daily,
backwater.
while Twitter was 237.8 million active users.
Wow. Okay.
Basically, Blue Sky is completely irrelevant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is an argument to be made. I don't think this is the case with Blue Sky, but there's an argument to be made that very small social networks that have the right people on them, like very high agency people in the world, live players by Sam Berger's definition, are incredibly meaningful and are the only networks that matter. But this is not that. This is not that.
Blue Sky is like an automatic lefty opinion generator. And so I try to like reload the front page a few times to one, find out what type of reach you get if you're a famous person on Blue Sky, and two, understand like, okay, what type of things are they talking about on Blue Sky? So I'll put here 2 random front pages I got. The first was the top post on Blue Sky at the time was Mark Cuban saying, remember, new users are coming on daily, unsure of engagement. The more posts you like and reply to, the stronger the platform becomes, exclamation mark. So Mark Cuban is shilling Blue Sky. Did he like become like shadow Elon Musk, like the dark, pathetic version of him? Because he sided with the lefties, and Elon Musk actually had the balls to side was the side that was standing
That
for
is
justice and love.
pretty funny. Yeah. Oh, dear.
No, I think that's what happened. Is he thought he was doing the right thing, and initially he historically has been somewhat based, at least, but now he's sort of stuck in lefty sphere and being like discount Elon Musk. And so he is, and you'll see him a lot. Like when I look at Blue Sky, he's a lot the top poster. He's sort of like to Twitter, where you see Elon's tweets all the times, and you're like, I did not ask for this. He is Blue Sky's version of Elon Musk tweets. And it's like sad shilling. And then what's the one under that? It's under Grateful Deadpool. And it goes, this needs to be said aloud and often. Can I tell you a secret? I don't care if there are undocumented immigrants in this country. I think it's a non-issue. Without social security numbers, they're not getting the welfare people claim they're getting, and the vast majority of them are normal people trying to live a better life. By the way, this isn't true. There are many ways you can get government assistance without a social security number. A lot of illegal aliens are getting government assistance, but this person's an idiot.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat.
The Springfield, Ohio Police Department has debunked this very bizarre and very hateful.
The cat, eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs.
No eating dog, you cats.
Eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat, eat the cat.
Actually, one thing that I heard recently, read, is that the UN has been giving prepaid debit cards to many migrants and, what's the word for people fleeing countries? Refugees to move prepaid debit cards to come to the United States.
Or the US?
No, the UN, the United Nations. So that is using some taxpayer dollars from people in the US because the US supports the United Nations. So yeah, there's a lot of different forms of aid that people receive, and it's not necessarily directly from the US government, but it can be from US taxpayers nonetheless.
Yeah, no, it's just ridiculous. And so, by the way, like, how many likes are these things getting, right? So with the top one on the platforms right now, you're looking at 3.6K likes and 12.3K likes. Basically, no one is seeing this shit. Okay, and what else? Because I love that people are like, oh no, it's not just lefty nonsense and like self-congratulatory. All right, here's another one. Okay, what happened the next time I loaded it, right? It's a meme of scientists and a huge crowd of scientists and somebody saying, yes, you all are wrong. And then it says, a man who saw a YouTube video. And it's like, well, if you understand how much the scientific community is held hostage by the mimetic virus, you would be like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I know lots of scientists who don't feel comfortable saying anything against the virus. And then, okay, what's the next one? Well, the next one on the platform is a guy saying, Tim Walt need a podcast to help get us through the next 4 years. Do you agree? And then the next is an Onion article, which appears on there all the time. So, no, it is just lefty slop. And it's something you would only go to if you only wanted lefty slop.
Well, they need a safe space.
Safe space.
Because keep in mind, so the hyper progressive left community anyway, like uniquely and disproportionately sees any interaction or exposure to someone who is non-compliant in terms of ideology and belief as being like like a zombie infectious disease. You can't go near it or you get tainted.
My name is Reality.
Oh no, not reality. Somebody stop him.
In the same room as someone declared by the woke mind virus as an enemy, a racist, whatever, because by doing so you will yourself be somehow tainted or ruined or whatever, because I guess they'll change your mind that easily. But that would make sense, right? You're gonna need blue sky.
I think because it's the majority opinion within my community.
Yeah, what that insinuates is just so
another majority opinion, I would immediately cave.
I mean, that is what is implied by that. Not by us, but by that ideology.
No, by that mindset. No, so I'll tell you another reason why a lot of people are leaving X.
Okay.
And this is like actually more comical to me. The stupidity of this. The new X contract allows for it to be used and what's posted to be used for AI scraping. And people
but everything's been scraped like up to how, what do you think people have been using for AI training data so far?
Why would you not want your information scraped for AI? AI is going to be the dominant player in human civilization going forwards. The stuff created by AI that is going to be counter-scraped by other AI is the stuff that the foundations of our descendants millions of years from now is going to be based on. You are lucky that you get the chance to conceivably possibly contribute to stuff that AI is going to scrape.
Hold on, though. You're telling me the blue sky doesn't allow this, right?
No,
they don't allow AI scraping, because then that's a feature, not a bug. That means that like a leftist, like
no, but so Blue Sky itself isn't building an AI model and scraping data on the platform to build an AI model in the same way X is with Grok. It, however, does not prevent other parties from scraping its data for AI building. I wish it did, because I agree with what Simone's saying here. How cool would it be if we trapped all of the leftists in a little bubble and prevented all of their slop from making it into AI training sets?
The point being is many of them are idiotically leaving Twitter because of this. And I'm like, I right now, we reached out to the nonprofit that runs the Pile, or it's like an AI company that this is a big training data set. And I'm like, can I give you our training data for all our episodes and our books? Because I will give that to anyone training AI.
Yeah, anyone who's opting out of AI training data is opting out of being part of reality in the future. That is, it's I can't understand it. That's crazy.
Right? No, it literally is. It is mimetically taking a gun and shooting yourself in the head.
It's opting out of relevance. Why would someone do that?
All the horses start running, and one of the horses is just like, I'm like, what the fuck did you do that for?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to race for other people's amusement. And I was like, well, that's what you were bred for, you. Oh my God. But it's one of these things where it's not like, and I point this out to people who don't understand what all this means. They're like, oh, AI is like taking like artist jobs. It's like, no, it's taking humanity's job to a large extent. If you opt yourself out of AI training data, that isn't not letting somebody, they look at it like somebody's like copying them or cheating off of their homework. That's like, you get to be the cognition or an aspect of the cognition of the future of humanity, and you are opting out of that.
It's not ideal. That's crazy. So yeah,
what are
I
your thoughts on all this before we go further? I want to talk about the psychological effects of something like Blue Sky as well.
I don't like, by any stretch or in any way, mimetically isolating yourself. I think that it can lead to really toxic behavior, and it has done so in the past. So that scares me. But it also just, it makes me sad, because we're looking at a social group here that is uniquely unwilling to engage with outsiders. And this is just another example of it. And these are people who have cut friends out of their lives. We've had plenty of people cut us out of their lives because we hold views that are considered non-compliant. And these are people who already are buying in to an ideology and culture that atomizes them, that separates them from their communities, that replaces religion with therapists. It replaces community with, paid childcare and paid elder care, and that replaces friends with social media scrolling. And here you have another example of now even more exposure to the outside world being cut off, even more friends being cut off. And it makes me sad to see these people increasingly isolated, increasingly alone, because you hear people talking about the loneliness epidemic, and this group caring about the well-being of people, at least performatively, at least believing they care, does worry about loneliness, does worry about sadness. And just to see that they keep making it worse makes me sad. And plus, also, this is just another condemnation or endorsement on their part of this concept that any criticism, any bullying, any bad mouthing or teasing is a harmful act of violence, when really the whole point of exchanging ideas is that there has to be disagreement. It's not interesting if there's no disagreement. And hearing these memes that you're showing, it's people are leaving X because they don't like that people there sometimes don't agree with them, don't give them a participation trophy for
the desire for constant affirmation and the expectation psychologically of constant affirmation causes gigantic negative deleterious effects. And it reminds me of the parents who freak out on me for not giving my kids constant affirmation. I recently got in trouble, not for bopping, just for yanking my kid out of an environment because he stole something from another kid. And I was like, okay, we're going home. And two moms chased me out and were like, how dare you punish your child? And I was like, do you not understand the negative consequences that will happen to your child's brain if he never experiences somebody being angry at him, if he never experiences punishment, if he never experiences boundaries? And they're like, well, I would just sit him down and explain that it's not very nice. And I'm like, this is what blue sky is. It's the people who are
but also lady, what do you think we spent the morning doing? We also coached the kids ahead of leaving, if we're going to a shared space, here are the boundaries, here are the things that you can't do, because they also they developed a reputation of being the child equivalent of wedding crashers. They kept going to other kids' birthday parties, and
well, because the parents don't turn them away. It's horrifying. My kids will hang out around the arcade and wait for somebody to pay for a game for them. And I'm like, stop feeding the fucking bears. If you feed the bears are going to expect food.
Yeah, not ideal.
We'll do a whole episode on this particular topic, but it is deeply disappointing to me. And I hadn't realized how far the inspection had spread and how pathetic most parents were in terms of discipline, in terms of, and this wasn't me bopping the kid. This was me just grabbing
removing a child who was
leaving now.
Yeah.
In an angry tone. To something that the kid went in saying, I have only one rule. I know this rule. I won't do this. Still did it.
Our kids like pushing boundaries, and that's what kids should do. Our kids should push boundaries. But the problem is, and boundary pushing and play and all of that is a core part of child development. It is very important. But the whole point of that is that they learn where the boundaries are.
The boundaries.
Yeah.
If you
don't put the boundary there.
Do you not see that you're going to scramble the Roomba's brain? If you keep a Roomba from ever hitting a wall, do you think that's going to be good for the programming of the Roomba?
Yeah, then the Roomba goes into the real world and goes straight off a cliff, straight into a busy road. I don't know, just bad. This is bad. It's bad. I don't like it.
No, it's sad and pathetic, and I'm really yeah. I've
got
gossip I can give you.
Is there? You have a what?
Gossip.
What gossip?
2 fun pieces of gossip. Okay, so one was in a previous episode we had been talking about I bet that blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth line. That doesn't mean weak, right? The way that a lot of people take it to mean today.
Yeah, it means humble.
I look it up. You know what it actually means?
What? In the original?
Yeah, no. What
language?
In Greek? What the word meant as it was written in its original form.
Okay.
The word meant people with self-control. It was specifically used to describe tamed horses.
Blessed are the disciplined.
Yes, blessed are the self-disciplined, for they shall inherit the earth.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I love it.
Where did meek come from? What kind of psyops was that?
That's some in psyops right there.
That is wow. Okay, who ever
Oh,
did
here's
that?
okay. So here's another fun thing. So Ellen DeGeneres, you know, she's leaving the U.S.
Oh, she's actually going to. Good for her. Someone needs to go to Canada or
Apparently, she
wherever.
was planning to go anyway because even progressives hate her now.
Oh.
So she had this show that was like semi-popular, and then it turned out that she was a terrible human being. I so love that you and I don't have to worry about that. Like, we are so open about like we punish our kids, we expect good things for them, and that's the worst thing you're gonna find on us.
I think that the important thing is you set expectations low and then surpass them, and then you're okay. The problem is that everyone just assumes she was the nicest person in the entire
Well,
world.
because she ended every show with and being nice.
Well, and like she play Dory in Finding Nemo? Just like you just assume that she's going to be this like super nice, doesn't have a mean thought in her entire soul, which is just not human.
Dude, apparently she's like the meanest human being ever born. She would
That's
have
the problem.
people
All these
fired 'cause
people
they,
who have like
talked to her in
friendly
an
brand, like
elevator.
Rachel Ray is famous for this too. She had this cheerful brand, and then like she wants privacy at a restaurant or something, and people freak out and lose their minds because God forbid someone.
She's gotten people fired for saying, "Hey, how was your day?"
Okay,
At the studio, not on her team. She tried to get somebody fired from a restaurant because they served her with chipped nail paint. Not like chipped on her food, it just wasn't perfect nails.
Oh, well.
She
Okay.
is like the Karen. She is the
pretty
end
bad.
boss of Karen.
Dude, this is pretty f***ed up right here.
Oh, God damn it, not again.
We'll get you, you bitch. And to think I actually watched your HBO special.
That is really bad. Well,
And the left realized this, and so she was deciding, and she talked about it before, she was going to leave the country anyway, but now she's saying she's doing it because of Trump. And everyone's like, well, that's wonderful.
oh, so now she
anyway.
gets some points, some redemption.
Even at like the top of like Reddit, the far lefty brain, and not only like a conservative subreddit on our advice animals, they're like, well, that's okay. I'm glad to see you go, Ellen.
Oh no, poor Ellen. She's just a person.
I don't think so. She's a person who utilized her power to hurt and dunk on people who she saw as less powerful than herself and wants affirmation in spite of that.
Yeah,
People who do that are bad.
That sounds just extremely human. People who do that are people.
It's not
but like
you, in the entire time I've known you, have ever tried to attack somebody weaker than yourself.
I'm not a human. I'm an autist. We don't have souls, as your mother made clear. I don't count. This doesn't matter.
Well, okay, here's the question. I may lash out at
experience
people.
love.
Do I ever lash out at people who are obviously weaker than us, Simone? Ever?
You dismiss them all the time. You would have a
I
terrible
dismiss
reputation
them,
as
but
a
I
rich
don't
person.
try to hurt them.
No, you don't try to hurt them. No.
Sorry, when she says I dismiss them, she's like, I have this saying that's like a muggle when it sees magic. When I'm talking to somebody who I know doesn't matter, like my eyes just go.
Yeah, and you just like you try to end the conversation really fast or like find some way to walk away quickly, and it's super obvious to them that you think, which is tough because like they're even fans of like our podcast who like try to engage with you, and then they like immediately know like, oh God, Malcolm thinks I don't matter because you like suddenly can't see them anymore, and you like it really.
It's not that I think they don't matter, Simone. The problem is I know they don't matter.
No,
I'm just trying to spend the little time I have in this world judiciously.
Yeah, but anyway, like that wouldn't get you points as a famous person. But I guess the important thing, and back to my point, is that if you set expectations very low and then you turn out to be like an okay person, then you're okay. If you set expectations high and everyone expects you to be Glenda the Good Witch or whatever, like super nice, then they get disappointed when you aren't that, which is so that's
Yeah,
what's
but we've
good.
made all our flaws known, so hopefully,
Yeah.
When we
We
get
won't
in trouble for
disappoint.
doing famous people things, and we get, and some people are like, "Oh my God, these people are so desperate to become famous," and it's like, yeah, our goal was a lot of this. The only people who are saying that are people who haven't achieved any level of fame yet. The people who have already achieved fame, they're like, "I really appreciate your guys' hustle. Like, I like your content, and I appreciate how much you hustle at this and how much, you project with this, but also." when you've got 3 Guardian articles about us this year, a Wall Street Journal piece, it seems like a New York Times piece. Do you think they're still going to publish that? What happened to the New York Times person?
I don't know.
Eh. But we'll be there soon. Oh, one thing that Asmongold said about Ellen that I really take to heart about our own careers, and I want you to remember this, Simone, is at one point she took time off because she was being attacked publicly, and Asmongold said, that's the death sentence. Never, ever, ever take a break.
No, you never. Well, one, it never apologize, but also like don't disappear.
He said that too.
Yeah.
He said never apologize unless you mean it.
Yeah. I mean, if you made a mistake, but also like, don't.
There's things I regret. I regret selling our own Bitcoin and telling other people when we did.
I don't personally regret that, but I know that you do. We made the most optimal decision given the information we had at the time. At least I did.
I don't regret it given the context because we told people to buy in at less than 50% that like less than half that price. So anyone who bought in when we told them to would have more than doubled their money. And as to why I was okay with selling out then, because many people, I guess I didn't fully explain my logic. Kamala had said she was pro-Bitcoin and Trump was known as pro-Bitcoin. So I didn't expect a bump in Bitcoin when the president was elected because I assumed both candidates had signaled a pro-Bitcoin status. So that was priced in. In addition to that, my assumption was that the rise in Bitcoin price this cycle would be less than other cycles because the happening mattered less to the new supply and thus to the amount of Bitcoin on the market. And in addition to that, my assumption was that if in any cycle, the peak of the cycle was lower or around the peak of the cycle before, the price of Bitcoin would almost immediately collapse. And I didn't want to risk that with something that was such a ginormous portion of our portfolio. And it was absolutely enormous in terms of our wealth that was invested in Bitcoin. So I am okay with it because it's better than losing everything.
Malcolm, we made money and we reduced downside risk. Again, like I don't see the problem here. We made the most optimal decision. Like there could have been information that I didn't have that obviously had I had it, I would have made a different decision. But the whole thing is like in terms of thinking.
But I admit when I'm wrong, and I was super wrong about that, and I'm embarrassed about it. But I won't remove the episode.
You didn't make the wrong decision. You just made a call that turned out to not yield the top payout. But
I'm embarrassed when I'm wrong. I want people to know that
people who train people in playing like professional poker. A very big bugaboo that they frequently have is the person plays as optimally as they can, then they lose the hand or that round or whatever. I don't know how to play poker. And they're like, oh, well, I lost, so I must have done something wrong. And no, technically they did everything absolutely right. Sometimes you just don't have enough information to have made a winning play. And that is how it goes. That doesn't mean that you did it wrong. That means that like luck didn't have it, that or you didn't have the right information to do that. So now there are things that we could have done. Like I could have maybe researched more, like asked more people for advice or something. So yeah, I mean, there's always more that we can do, and it is our fault in the end for anything that we do. Anything that goes wrong, it's going to be our fault. But like I'm just saying, I don't have any regrets because I'm pretty. Like I did.
No, I think that we did. Like as I've been replaying it in my mind, I think the risk that many people aren't considering is if this cycle didn't top out significantly higher than the last cycle, there would have been an immediate collapse in the price. And that's what I was trying to avoid, given how much of our portfolio was.
But just this morning, or like last night, maybe someone on X sent us a meme of like how people who sold their Bitcoin before the election feel. It was like this GIF, I think maybe from Oppenheimer. It looks like it was from Oppenheimer. It was just like the protagonist, like everyone's congratulating him and celebrating, and he's just like has this 1,000-mile stare. I just send it to you.
No, I really don't mind when crypto goes up. I always want, even when we don't own it, crypto to go up, because when crypto goes up, good people with good political opinions have more money.
Yeah.
And they're spending money on stuff.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm all for it. It's great. And actually a point that the guys on the online podcast are making, to be reducing like dumb regulatory bloat, because keep in mind, like to invest in businesses and, to be an investor, you have to be an accredited investor at this point, right? And yet you're allowed to gamble. You're allowed to go to Vegas. You're allowed to do sports betting in most states in the United States. You're allowed to buy Bitcoin, and you can't invest in businesses. Like that is insane.
By the way,
You
people
know?
who want to buy into GPUs, let us know. We're doing play in this space. It looks like it might have like a 50% IRR year over year, but we'll see. But that's what the data says. That's what the historic data says, which is pretty effing crazy. Anyway, Simone, any other points you want to make on our general? A lot of people like our general random chat.
Yeah, which you used to be quite opposed to. Who knew?
Well,
I was
I think that there's not a lot of models out there for what like loving, smart couples say to each other.
Well, I was reading another article recently that was posted in some like San Francisco newspaper about polygenic risk score selection, and it started by talking about us and the fact that we do it, that it's like going to backfire and it's terrible. And it's the very common argument made by typically progressive commentators that polygenic risk score selection is new and who even knows if it works. And so like basically per their belief set, they're like, okay, well, maybe it doesn't even work. This is still new. Who knows? Like, it's just risks anyway. Nothing is guaranteed. And like, how could you put it on these children? Like, now they're growing up with these insane expectations. Like, this is irresponsible parenting. And then I'm
I think
thinking,
this
like,
just
you know
further
what?
elevates
They're
the
not
point that we make
criticizing.
that the progressive Democrats today are Republicans from the 1990s.
Well,
It's
you know
so
where they're
funny.
not criticizing? They're not criticizing like Chinese families that have like their, you know, they try to have a kid during like the year of the tiger or dragon or something. They
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
you know, or anyone who's like looking at like auspicious dates and all these other things. And I'm like, but you know what? Ultimately, if you were to ask a progressive person behind closed doors, like, okay, well, yeah, but what about like all the people who are having kids like on auspicious dates or in other ways that they, you know, they don't think are science based, they don't think are like realistic, but leave those kids with expectations. And they'd be like, well, yeah, I don't really support those either. But like, then what do they support? Like waiting until you're 37, panicking, trying to have a kid at great like physical and personal expense, like only managing to have one child, getting super stressed about your career, kind of stepping back, kind of not. Like their option, their plan for parenting is not very good. And it's just insane to me that like they would shit on both like the culture of the tech entrepreneur who like, okay, fine, like if PGTP doesn't work, which by the way this is very like science based, is very
It like
evidence based,
obviously does.
like assuming they're right, like assuming they're right, it's just our culture. Like let us do our version of horoscope. All right, like why do you have to like dunk on our culture, especially when your culture doesn't work for you? So it just made me mad to see that article. But
Oh my God.
I'm
When
not
this lady came up
surprised.
and started yelling at me about like the way I was, because I punished our kids, I was like, but like, look at the suicide rates. Like, obviously society isn't working right now. And she's like, don't pass it on. Don't pass, like break the cycle for the next generation. Do you want your kids to treat their kids this way? And I was like, obviously I do. Yeah, I want my kids to punish their kids. Are you out of your mind, lady? And she was horrified by this. I was like, I'm not punishing my kids because I lost my temper. I'm punishing my kids because kids need punishment.
Kids need boundaries. Kids need boundaries. I don't really believe in punishment. I believe in showing you where the wall is and doing that artificially when the real world is not yet a safe place for that to happen. Right? Like
Yeah.
the real world is the kid
By the
runs
way,
into a
this day,
street.
when I was taking the kids out of the place, when I went to find Octavian,
Mhm.
when I went to find him, he was pretending to bite some like teenager's leg. And they were like, oh my God, whose child is this?
Oh God,
Our
kids
kids are
savages.
savages.
They're savages. But yeah, like so in the real world, your kid runs into the street, they die. Like parents don't punish, they provide walls that are more gentle than the real world and consequences that are more gentle than the real world. And then they hopefully prepare children for the real world so that they don't run into the road and die. Like, I don't know.
Well, some of
But
them
everyone
do.
has their own parenting methods. And quite frankly, those parenting methods are probably appropriate, barring toxic monoculture culture.
No, I
But
disagree with
they're
that. 'Cause,
probably
like,
good
the
for their
lady I was
kids.
talking to, she was so proud when I was like, well, this is going to cause mental health issues for our kids if I do this. She goes, you didn't know this about me, but I have mental health issues. She was very proud of this fact. Like, she thought she was like getting this like in on me. Like, I had just made a major social faux pas. And in my head, I'm being like, yeah, 70% of the women in your generation think they have mental health issues. Like
We all
they
do.
identify
We
as
all
one of the
do.
massive part of their personality. That's not surprising if you are basic as this
Yeah,
basic does.
millennials are just like screwed up, self-diagnosed, diagnosed. It
Can
doesn't
I get
matter.
a bonk stick? I really want like a Doge bonk stick whenever I'm talking to someone who's too
Doge
interested.
bonk
And it just
stick.
like appears out of nowhere and I can go bonk, 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 bonk.
Like a
Why
bop
can't I
it
just
from my
bonk them?
childhood. Oh god.
What?
Well, I remember for the Boring Company when they sold those limited edition flamethrowers. It'd be great if there was like limited edition Doge merch that could like help to fund the employment for the
For
program,
bonk
the 18
sticks?
month
Yeah, I'd
program.
like that. This
No,
child, Simone, you're not beating her enough.
she's just wiggly. She has wiggles that she has to get out of her system.
I really like you.
I really like teddy bear suits for infants. Why would you not just like have a teddy bear? Right?
You just grew a teddy bear. Why would you do that?
Yeah, like it's just
You is knock up a woman or get knocked up. Women knocked up.
Anyway, I love
That's
you.
your duty.
I love you very much, Malcolm, and I'm going to start your slow cooker beef. You're okay with chopped onions, right? Do you want long bits or do you want confetti?
Confetti. Chopped
Figured.
onion confetti and the 2 packs of rendang and the coconut milk and the chopped beef and the
You put out only one
butternut
can. I think
squash.
you need at least 2 cans, or else I need to put in chicken broth or tomato.
At least 2 cans of what?
Coconut milk.
Oh, then put in 2 cans. I just thought that 1 can would be fine.
You got a lot of beef. Is it okay that I cube it? Because I just think it's going to cook better if I cube it. You said you wanted long
Whatever
slices.
you think
but-
is best. I just think that when I stir it, it'll break down faster if it's sheets, and then you don't have to cut twice. But if you want a cube instead of sheets, that's fine for me.
All
as
right,
well.
I'll do sheets. I understand what you're saying is like sort of the cleaving is easier of the.
The cleaving will happen as I stir it, and if it's cubed, you might get more cubes lasting for longer in the.
Yeah, and then you'll never let me live it down, will you?
I'm just trying to explain to you how to best create a mess. The goal with our slow cooking is to create something where the meat totally breaks down and creates a meat slurry, which can be eaten like a forever stew. And then I reheat it in various other dishes, which
Like
are
it goes into fried
absolutely
rice, it goes into taquitos, it goes into. Well, what I'm going to do the first night that it's ready, so tomorrow night, is we're going to try those viral smashed potatoes, which almost come out kind of like chips.
mashed potatoes.
Yeah, so I think you parboil them and then you bake them. There's a lot of butter involved. That's why they're amazing. But you smash like parboiled potatoes under like a glass, so they get smashed and sort of flattened, and then you bake them, and then they come out like crispy and delicious. So.
Do you know? I want to tell you something. Do you know how many guys would kill for a wife like you? I mean, literally kill. I am not surprised if I end up dying because of somebody who wishes they could be married to you.
I think a lot of humans would just literally kill if they were given the option, like the ultimate sport. So I don't know how much.
I would do that. You know, that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to kill for anything. You would just kill.
No, but I mean kill even with society's rules.
Oh, like at the risk of being.
This has happened to a lot of YouTube couples.
What do you mean?
Somebody's like, that wife is too good for that man.
Oh, that someone's going to try to kill you?
Yeah. I
Not
think that you think it's
after
because of all the
seeing
hate
the
we get. I don't
number-
think that.
the
I think it's going
number
to be
of
somebody who's
firearms
obsessed
in our
with you.
house. No, I doubt that. And also, like, I'm famously, ugly online 4/3 apparently. But if Margot Robbie's mid,
not to your obsessive fans, Simone.
I don't think they would like me for my looks. They're kind of like the ones who are like, I would.
Yeah, but
I
they
would
might
slum it.
like you. They might like you for your personality and dedication to being a great wife.
Oh, thanks, Malcolm. Well,
I don't like you for that. I want to be clear. I think that you're pretty disgusting, but
yeah, you like me for.
I like you only for your looks. I've learned this from girls I've dated in the past. who've broken up
Yes,
with me.
there's
They
only
don't like
one
me.
answer that you can give to a woman, which is, I like you because you're irresistibly beautiful and young looking. This is 100% true. I'm not breaking eye contact.
Oh my gosh, Simone, you are a delightful person. Can I just I don't say that enough, do I?
No, oh yeah, like you don't say it like 10 times every
How
like
often do I
2
tell you that I
hours.
appreciate you?
I mean, multiple times a day. Like at least 5 times every night, but that's only at nighttime. That's after the sun has set. So before then, you're the most loving and affectionate husband out there, which is insane because normally like the high value ones are just kind of cold and like they understand their values, so they don't have to reciprocate. I appreciate you,
Yeah,
Malcolm.
they don't have wives who make them amazing dishes, see something online and are like, "Oh, this is a popular dish on the TikToks. I'm gonna see if I can make this for my husband."
I mean, yeah, because our kids don't eat anything good. I like make all these amazing things for you, and I hope the kids will eat it. And then they're like, "Where are my dinosaur nuggets? Where's the pizza?"
Well, if they're not dinosaur nuggets, then they're not real dinosaurs, Simone. I knew this as a kid.
This is a problem.
Did you forget who you bred with?
Yeah. No, I mean, I keep in mind, I did not eat vegetables until I was like 16 years old. I only ate like bland.
And
Not
you're
even
pretty
I
tall, so
wouldn't eat mashed potatoes even. I would only eat the like reconstituted flakes. If it was like,
Wait, what do you think about us being over 5 million views?
oh, that's. I can't really think about it because we're getting to stupid numbers. Like I can't make sense of that. The human is incapable of wrapping their head around that kind of size of a group, you know? So it just becomes like more than I can comprehend. And we passed that a long time ago. It's a lot of people.
It's a stupidly large amount of people. You guys shouldn't be watching this. This is a kid making farting noises. And a wife and a husband jacking off about how terrible Blue Sky is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll let it go and I'll start your dinner. But I love you, Malcolm.
Taquitos tonight, right?
Taquitos tonight. Yeah.
Hey, don't forget to put
mostly
cheddar.
cheese. Basically, the meat is a flavoring agent.
Exactly.
It's a
You know what's up.
spice. God, that's
And wrap them tight because I'm trying to get a lot of crunch there for
to get
everything.
maximum crunch, minimum meat.
And we got more tortillas, so do not be stingy with the tortillas. Be stingy with the meat.
Okay. Do you want any leftovers, or should I just take a tiny, tiny amount of meat?
Any leftovers?
Yeah, like do you want leftover taquitos to snack on during the day?
Whatever you think is good. I'd have them tomorrow. I'd have them today. Whatever you think is good.
Okay, great. Thank you. Love you.
Bye-bye. Love you.
Bye. I was thinking this morning about your musings as a teen that you could use cult tactics to brainwash yourself into doing good things. I mean, if a cult can make totally logical, even very smart and successful people do things that are very damaging to themselves, despite them being, very difficult things, then you could probably brainwash yourself into doing stuff that you want for yourself. And I'm like, well, how else can we maybe apply this to help people do things that are good for them? And I was just thinking about like all these not like mediocre marriages, especially where women like just aren't that into their husbands and like get resentful and things like that. And then I was thinking about popular romance genres, and I was like, oh, wait. So enemies to lovers is a really popular genre. Like, could you possibly create some kind of regimen whereby women start like building this own enemies to lovers fantasy? Like, if already they're getting resentful of their husbands and like getting all Machiavellian and stuff, then why not like turn it into something that like in the end goes full circle and they end up like madly in love with their husbands after like super enemying them? Like, I think it's possible.
Well, no, here's why it doesn't work.
Okay,
Because when
fine.
women enemy their husbands, they also degrade them and recontextualize them as lower status.
No. But you have to be very concerted about it. So you'd have to do like an enemies to lovers and of like, well, then I'm going to be where you have to Shanghai them into a Pygmalion relationship by the definition of our pragmatist guides to relationship. So you have to be like, well, I hate him so much. I'm just going to exploit him and make him the best possible husband and like help him succeed so that I can make tons of money off of him. And then
it doesn't work that way. Once they have degraded their husband, even if
they plan on investing in their husband to make him a better person, because I feel like if you spend a lot of time investing in a partner,
you don't understand. Once they see a man in that way, they can never see him in any other way.
Really? Because I
Even
feel
if
like there are
status,
plenty of
even-
relationships that end, and then like a woman sees her husband thrive after like he gets rid of his dad bod.
Yeah,
and
it
gets
doesn't
ripped
work
again.
until they've left him and they're jealous. So I have seen many women who
But
look
does
down
the
on their
leaving
husband
part
and then their
have to
husband becomes
happen?
a super big deal, and then they weren't able to see that or contextualize that.
Can we skip the leaving part where like the marriage stays together and we like get the woman to go through that
if he's
process?
sleeping with other women.
If he's
No, that's what
yeah.
triggers it for them. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, other women.
Yeah,
look at him
social
with
proof.
admiration.
Yeah, but if the man's going through dumpy phase, it's a lot harder for him to do
Women
that.
look to where other women are looking to
The social
determine.
proof. Yeah.
There's some great studies on this actually. As a man, like it's much easier to pick up women with a wedding ring than it is without a wedding ring. If you're going out there hitting on women, put on a wedding ring, because they view that as a sign of, I forget the word, but it's like social proof.
Social proof. Yeah, it's social signaling. So, and you can pick up a wedding ring on Amazon for like $10 and $11 because we just buy them in bulk at this point because Malcolm keeps losing them. So you can do it, guys, if you're single and you just need to, you know.
I have never lost a wedding ring in my.
Never.
I must have lost. It was in this house 60 wedding rings at this point, or something like that. Like a large number, and we have no idea where they're going. One day,
like literally, we're gonna hit like a floorboard or something, and a bunch of rings are just gonna come pouring out because it'll turn out that Torsten, who keeps stealing them from you, by the way,
he really does like stealing them from me.
he
He's
likes
asked me for a wedding ring himself, and I said I can get him a little one for him, and he goes, but then it won't be big like Daddy and Mommy's.
Oh, he's a sweet kid. He wanted last night. He's like, "Can I hold those 2 batteries for Daddy and Mommy?" And he wanted to like take them into his bed. He just wants to hold batteries. That's all he wants in his little world.
Just hold his little batteries.
I'm like, Torsten, those batteries have chemicals that can kill little children like you. And he's like, what did he say? Something about like killer batteries. He's like, can I have the killer batteries? He wants them. He just understands now that they're dangerous, but he needs to hold them and go, He rubbed me against his face, you know, the whole rock thing.
He rubbed you?
Yeah, he like took my hand and was like, like he's
he loves rubbing the things he loves against his face. He's very
the
authentic
autism is
child.
strong with this one. Yeah, I love him so much.
All right, so Simone, I sent you a collection of memes.
Thank you.
Go to the bottom one, so the most recent one, which is just a post, and then we'll go through the memes in just a second, okay?
Hi.
So right now it's just a post on Blue Sky, which we'll be talking about later. But yes, okay. So
more Cubans on Blue Sky.
Yes, we'll talk about it, and he's shilling it a lot.
Oh,
it's creepy.
Okay.
Hello. What can I do for you today?
Torsten, show it your sword.
That sounds exciting.
Don't do that, Torsten, or you'll break the ornaments.